Hi everyone, Silver Contrail here, and today I'm bringing you a look forward into 2021, both in terms of this channel and in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! More broadly. I want to recap a little bit of what happened in 2020. I ended up losing my job in May of last year. I picked up another job in retail, a very big downgrade, and finally, I am getting out of that job and moving into something very similar to the job I had before I was laid off. So hopefully that all goes well. That'll give me a more consistent schedule and ideally a better position to make content from. Of course, during all this time, I've been writing for Infinite. If you ever want to check out my stuff, you can check it out on infinite.tcgplayer.com. This is not formatting very well. But yeah, got plenty of articles on here. I think I just got a new one that just went up, hopefully. Somewhere on here. Oh, here it is. Yep. Oh, look at that. Isn't that background amazing? Our graphic artist did a great job with this one. Oh, you can't even see it all. Hold on. We'll share it all. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? That's pretty fantastic. But yeah, if you ever want to check out my articles, of course, you can head over to infinite.tcgplayer.com and see those. Also, last year, I published an Android app that's on the Google Play Store called a TCG Roulette. It basically lets you play the Pegasus Challenge from YCS events from the comfort of your home if you're doing remote duels. You can, of course, use this in remote duels. And hopefully, eventually, when we're all playing in person, you'll be able to use it in person. Unless you already live in somewhere that can host tournaments again, like New Zealand, which is where I was in 2019. And I kind of wish I was still there. Anyways, Team APS posted this really interesting tweet, or this tweet that got me thinking about the kinds of things that I wanted to see from Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2021. Among those things, in my opinion, most prominently, I want to see a change in the way that Konami distributes their products. That Konami gives us new decks and new themes to play. Because, quite frankly, I am tired of gambling on sealed product. I really am. I have no patience for it. I like the pack opening experience from time to time, but some of these sets are just absolutely terrible to buy boxes of. And, you see the success stories online. What you don't see is all the people who just pull straight garbage from their packs. And the reason why I'm so laser focused on the randomness of it and the loot box nature is because lately I've been playing a lot of Genshin Impact. In fact, if you go over to my WordPress, silvercontrail.wordpress.com, you can see that I've actually been writing some articles on Genshin Impact. You can check those out. I think I've got 3 up here now. Before that, I was writing some articles, just sort of real quick stuff on Destiny 2, which is what I was playing a lot of in November, when Destiny 2 had some new content that released. But yeah, basically, I think the most egregious offenders when it comes to this loot box system are one, when we have really expensive individual staples that are super, super hard to get, but kind of necessary if you want to stay competitive. And 2, the deck build packs, right? Those sets that we have that give you 3 different sets to build from. So that's stuff like Genesis Impact and the upcoming Ancient Guardians. They have the 3 different decks that you can build from. But right, you've got to buy either singles or you got to buy a few boxes, and you're going to end up with parts of the other 2 decks as well. Honestly, I'm ready to go beyond this and just say, look, you want to play this new theme that's out, right? Like the Dryden theme. You want to play that? Here's a deck. Go out and buy it. You call it a structure deck, and call it a starter, whatever you want to call it. It would just be nice to be able to go out and just buy those decks. It's actually one of the reasons why I don't like the way that Vanguard distributed their products, where you had the packs would have 3 different themes, and you couldn't mix the cards up. That wasn't really a possibility. In Vanguard, they basically say effectively you can't mix the different themes together. In Yu-Gi-Oh, you can certainly do that, but it depends. And a lot of these deck build packs, you're not really combining the themes together anyways. So I don't really see the point in releasing them all together in the same pack. And the reason why I'm harping on this so much, which I didn't really buy much of Genesis Impact, is because of this set. This set is really disappointing. So Ghost from the Past is a set that's coming out in April, and it contains 132 new cards. 132 cards in the set. And I think there's 9 themes that are getting support in here, and I'm trying to find it. There it is. 45. There are 45 new cards, 87 reprints. Of the 87, 5 of them are ghost rares. And all other cards are the standard gold ultra rare technology. This is kind of a problem because you only get 15 cards per one of these units that you buy, and each set is $15. So that's $1 per card to pull the card that you want out of 132 cards. Now, granted, in theory, outside of the ghost rares, all these cards should be weighted exactly the same. So, there's 132 total cards. It means there's 127 cards that are all weighted exactly the same, and then there are the ghost rares that are presumably harder to pull. So, ideally, it won't be too bad to get the cards that you want. Plus, a lot of them are reprints anyways, and who cares, right? Well, I care, because the new cards in here are the Dragoonity cards. So that Dragoonity structure deck got cannibalized and stuffed into this set. And much like the Gearfried deck that got stuffed into a set last year, I expect those cards to be kind of pricey, even if they're not that good. Which, let's face it, it's Dragoonity. They're not going to be, they're not going to be changing the meta much. But if you want to build, Sun Avalon, or you want to build Dragoonity, or you want to pick up some new cards for these sets, or pick up some reprints, it's going to be a little challenging to do so by buying boxes. I mean, the odds of even getting close to pulling the cards that you want from buying these things, good luck. This is basically a box that exists to be pulled in mass by people, by stores, and then sold out as singles. I don't think there's any way that I go out there and I buy, I spend like 30 or 45 bucks on the sealed set trying to get the card that I want, because that's only 30 or 45 cards. That's not that many. You could still, out of 132 cards, you could still not pull a single copy of more than half the cards you're looking for. That's pretty bad, right, for 45 bucks. So I'm hoping the singles in this set are cheap. I'm not really looking forward to it. This really makes me upset that we're seeing these kinds of products come out. And again, like I said, I'm tired of the gambling. I really am. Like, for as much hate as we throw at, loot boxes in video games and predatory gacha systems, this is just as bad. And yeah, I'm tired of it. So this is my 2021 rant. On that note, Blazing Vortex is coming out, of course, here in less than a month, and I'm looking forward to it because I just think I'm hoping that there is a good world premiere theme. I believe that we know there's a world premiere theme. I think it was listed in the Lightning Overdrive recently, what it was called. I'm trying to see real quick if they mentioned it. Amusement park. Oh, there it is, the War Rock. So we know that War Rock is getting introduced as a world premiere theme, so that's pretty cool. To see a rock theme that isn't at Emancipators. I mean, theoretically, it's a rock theme. We'll see. Who knows? It could be Warriors. But yeah, so I think these sets will be pretty good. The bigger problem is, of course, that we are still, largely under stay-at-home orders, and there are locals in my area that I know are running tournaments, obviously unsanctioned tournaments, but tournaments nonetheless. And that upsets me just because I worry that people aren't taking this seriously. In my state alone, my particular county is one of the hardest hit. It's not like we have like a lot of people, but right now we have a lot of cases given the number of people that we have. Can't tell you how many people at my last job got sick with COVID. In fact, people who literally who I knew had it, who were around me, and luckily I didn't get it, at least to the extent that I know I didn't have symptoms, and nobody around me got it. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, and if I can end this video in any way, it's to say, look, for as much fun as Yu-Gi-Oh is, and as maybe scary as remote dueling might be, please try to stay home. Even if, yes, you have friends who are going and running tournaments, and I know that these stores are hurting, and that's a whole nother discussion that we need to have about how these small businesses are basically being told to close their doors and simultaneously not getting any help from the state. I agree that's a problem, but we've got to stay home. There's wearing masks to protect yourself, and then there's sitting across from somebody for up to 45 minutes. The mask is not going to help you in that situation. And if we just completely ignore social distancing. So I hope people continue to take that seriously. Let me just round out some other wish lists. Obviously, my top wish list is the very, very top of my wish list is that we get out of this pandemic soon, because we're losing way too many people every single day to this thing, besides all the inconveniences that it causes. But yeah, real quick, I'm hoping for some new Plunder Patrol extra deck monsters. Seriously, where are they at? I will say the new main deck monster is very, very good. It is very good. It does basically exactly what the deck needs by refueling your hand, which is probably, outside of the weird attribute thing, issue number 1 for Plunder Patrols. So that's great. But I also really liked Zach's comments here. These are some of the things I've talked about recently. A new format would be pretty cool to see. I think a seasonal rotating format would be pretty cool. And then I think some kind of limit on actions per turn would be interesting to see. Far in the future, we'll probably see something like this, where you can only special summon X number of times. I think maybe that needs to happen. But we'll see. And then, yeah, I think more alternative arts are really good. And then also, from Team APS as well. Lower overall card prices for staples. This is such a problem right now, and it's one of the reasons why I'm content to duel using simulators, because I don't want to pay for the staples. It's so expensive to get into this game right now and to play the staples. And the thing with, I'll probably talk about this later in another video, but the thing with budget, playing on a budget, is that it's not a real thing, in the sense that it's always a moving target. Being competitive on a budget is a moving target that requires continuously moving your investment around. And for the most part, if you're a budget player, there are the people who are restricted financially, but there's also the people who are I want to play this game at a certain level, at a local level. It'd be cool to go to a tournament every once in a while, but I don't want to put $400 into a deck when I could put $400 into a new game console, or $400 into a new PC component, or $400 into bills or food, or saving that towards something you actually need. For those people, just getting their foot in the door isn't enough. You have to be looking down the road, and those kinds of players are not going to be the type of people who can easily sell their investment, turn it around, trade it when it's high, sell high, buy low, right? They're not the market watchers, those budget players. It's a great idea for budget players to be conscious of the market, but they just aren't. It's not usually the case. Those spears in the Venn diagram of the players who are on a budget and the players who are watching the market every single day and know right when to sell, right when to buy, they don't really mix much. There's not a lot of shared space between them. So I think that's a big issue with budget play in this game. But there are a fair amount of budget decks. I think SEMA just put out a video recently on budget strategies for 2021, which I would definitely check out if you're interested. But yeah, I think there's a lot of really good, a lot of really good comments in here, and I'm kind of rambling, so I'll go ahead and wrap this up. And yeah, so let me know in the comments what your 2021 wish list is. Certainly, if you want to go on Twitter and find this tweet and reply to it, that'd be cool too. I'm sure they would appreciate it. And yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at SilverContrails. Thank you for listening to this rather long rant that I didn't expect to be this long. And until next time, then.